Records. And you heard it first right here on Cadillac Music. You were there with no one, and I came around. You were the only one who could change my frown into a smile. And I'm gonna take away my love I have for you. I'm gonna take away my love I have for you. So love me too. You saw me at my lowest time. You never
Peace,
judged
God. Peace,
you
peace, millennial. Good to see you, fam.
me trust. I'm never gonna take away my love I have for you. I'm never gonna take away my love I have me I never felt a love like you. I wonderful if I let you go away. So I say, I'm never gonna take away my love I have for you. I'm never gonna take away my love I have for you.
What up, man? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Yo, I hope y'all feeling blessed. I'm feeling blessed. Ain't nothing is ever as good as we want it to be, but I thank God it ain't as bad as it could be. You know what I mean? What's going on, millennial man? Peace, God, peace, God. Yo, man, I appreciate everybody just pulling up on me, man. I don't have any scripted or planned times that I go live. I just do it when I get inspired, man. So I'm feeling inspired. I want to just say God bless everybody, man. It's a blessing to be alive. It's a blessing to see another Wednesday, a day that we never seen before. So I just pray for everybody right now that everybody's well, everybody's family's good, and everybody's in good spirits, man. I ain't gonna hold y'all long. I'm gonna get right into the intro. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Donald Trump's children. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the president right now, but his kids are heavily invested in his campaign as well. So his youngest son, Barron Trump, It's some trippy stuff that I found today. I wanted to share this with y'all. Let me know what y'all think about this. Apparently, Donald Trump got some stuff going on with his kids.
Revolutionary Guard Corps is putting a hit on President Donald Trump's son, Barron Trump, with an inflammatory video claiming to track his location. State-run television in Iran is broadcasting a propaganda video claiming to show the locations of his residence, university, and personal security, according to opposition outlet Iran International. Iran's report concludes with a $10 million offer for the life of the president's son. The Iranian regime has a long history of threatening the lives of Trump, his family, and his allies, often in graphic ways. Depictions of the president being killed appear frequently on signs, billboards, and other public displays in Tehran. Trump has not commented on the threats being made against his family, but regularly acknowledges and muses on the fact that he is, quote, #1 on the kill list for Iran.
All right, so we got Donald Trump admitting that he's on the kill list for Iran. So yeah, let's get more into what's going on. Check this shit out. Probably got a commercial coming up.
That appears to place a $10 million bounty on the life of Barron Trump, the president's youngest child. The video even shows locations where the 20-year-old is known to spend time. I don't want to even mention those locations.
What's up,
The
Shaq?
Service says it is aware of the threat,
that's our Barron Trump.
Comment for security reasons. Joining us now is Leon Panetta. He was the defense secretary under President Obama. He was also the CIA director and formerly a member of Congress. Mr. Secretary, thanks so much for joining us.
I remember that millennium.
Hey
man, peace out to Captain Jay and Shaq, yo. What up, y'all?
Public threat and the apparent bounty on the life of 20-year-old Barron Trump.
So, apparently Iran has got a $10 million bounty out on Barron Trump. All right. Let's break it down, man. Barron Trump, that nigga like 7 foot tall. He the youngest of the Trump sons.
That is headed by an individual that Trump appointed who can be removed at will, especially after the Supreme Court decision in Trump v. Slaughter. And the organization is approving the charter. The only oversight that exists is now through the Attorney General, who, as you just established in prior segments, has essentially acknowledged and is at least telling the truth now that he views himself as the president's attorney.
Well, what it's going to be able to allow them to do, I think, is sort of graduate from petty.
Hold on. I'm going to get you the details you're looking for. I got you. Come on now. I don't want to play this shit.
What exposed him was that he had a digital sanctuary himself. His communications away from the eyes of his supervisors ended with voice and text chats on Xbox. You know how Trump killed the Ayatollah and his family? That's how they started the war. It would be like someone starting a war and killing Trump and his family. Well, guess what? Now Iran is now they have a thing that they're saying they're targeting. Iranian state TV broadcast video targeting Barron Trump with a $10 million bounty. They threatened Michael Corleone. They better not go to Cuba. Better not get a massage like Mo Green. So Iranian state TV broadcast a video, which I'll show you in a second, wanting to track the movements of Barron Trump, Donald Trump's 20-year-old son, and claiming a $10 million bounty has been placed on him. The footage released by the RRGC affiliated media and broadcast on Channel 3 of Iranian state television is titled, "Where and How Should We Kill Barron Trump?" I guess this is good for the gander. It claims to show the location of his university, his escort vehicles, and the positioning of his Secret Service detail, alleging his movements have been fully monitored. Here, you want to see it? Here it is.
داده‌های فاش شده در این ویدیو حاصل یک نفوذ
It
بی‌سابقه
gets
است.
slower.
اطلاعات را دختری در اختیار ما گذاشته که با
Who bypassed strictest protocols of America's most secretive service, sat face to face with Barron on the 58th floor of Trump Tower for a private meeting.
Yo.
These days, Barron's daily movement map is centered at the Milstein Academy at 1307 L Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. So they know where he's going to school. Okay. Every day he moves around with a convoy escort of tall, dark, tactical SUVs on campus. He's never alone. For even a second, Secret Service agents have ditched their suits and ties and blend in among the students wearing casual clothes, hoodies, and sportswear. The circle is so tight that bodyguards even sit in the back of row of his economics class. The upper class has access to student.
So, yo, for y'all that don't know or unclear what's going on, Iran on their TV broadcasting literally hate TV against Donald Trump and Barron Trump, it appears. It appears that they're putting out where this nigga go to school, the surveillance detail, the security detail on this dude. Yo, this movie about good. Yo, it's about to get good, bro, because we about to turn up. See, I'm just giving you what was being presented as far as Iran, but we about to take a deep dive. We about to take a turn, bro. We about to attack this shit from a whole nother angle. You already know how we do, millennials. You already know where we're going, bro. So I had to lay down the foundation. They put a jihad on Barron head. Yeah, bro, but it's deeper than this. I ain't even thinking about the war or even that shit is a distraction. I want to focus on Barron Trump on a whole different light. And this is where we about to go with it. Again, God bless everybody. I appreciate that y'all being here. And we about to talk about some shit. And I'm pretty sure you guys already privy to this shit. But I want you to check something out because of the timing of everything. You know what I'm saying? Just check out the timing. Now, I'm gonna say it again for the record. Barron Trump is named to be killed. Got a $10 million bounty on his head by Iran. Okay. Oh yes, sir, Melina. You already know what it is. So now that we know that Iran has put out a $10 million bounty on Donald Trump's head, I'm gonna show y'all the video that they put out. And after I show you,
the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is putting a hit on President Donald Trump's son, Barron Trump, with an inflammatory video claiming to track his location. State-run television in Iran is broadcasting a propaganda video claiming to show the locations of his residence, university, and personal security, according to opposition outlet Iran International. Iran's report concludes with a $10 million offer for the life of the president's son. The Iranian regime has a long history of threatening the lives of Trump, his family, and his allies, often in graphic ways. Depictions of the president being killed appear frequently on signs, billboards, and other public displays in Tehran. Trump has not commented on the threats being made against his family, but regularly acknowledges and muses on the fact that he is, quote, #1 on the kill list for Iran.
All right, now, so we done laid foundation of what's going on. This is what they presenting to us, right? Now, let's go deeper. Let's go deeper, damn it.
Hey guys, welcome back to Storky Farm Set. My name is Samantha. What I'm fixing to show you may be very disturbing to some.
What my boy said, but China been making moves too, my guy. Oh hell yeah. We talked about that all yesterday, shenanigans. We already talked about what's going on with the whole socialist and the whole social and the kind of the shaping of the new world order, bro, and where it's going. We were talking about the integration with AI and human consciousness, and you're gonna need energy and to push that. So we're talking about computer chips. So now we're dealing with China and Taiwan. I have no idea what Trump trying to save face with North Korea. Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's all about looking at who's involved with the Trilateral Commission, bro. Now you're talking about the Southeast Asian Bank. Millennial said, "I know her. That's Sammy Sam." Yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah, man. You know about Sammy Sam, but I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna get in there in a minute. But yeah, so if you look at everybody who's kind of had the socialist imperialism type of government. So looking at China wants to reunite Taiwan, so it's one China. Russia wants to reunite Ukraine to make it one Russia. You see what I'm saying? There are certain countries who are trying to get back how things used to be because we're shaping up for the NWO. You know what I mean? And the whole one world bullshit. And Grace still out of power when Gary's still out of power when they said that shit would be fixed. That's crazy, bro, because they are sending mixed messages. My girl, Lauren is from Anderson, Indiana, and she said everybody reporting that Gary 99% got their power back on. Millennial said right. Uh, Millennial said origin correct. Yeah, man. So I don't know if they got their power on yet or not, man. I'm gonna touch back in with Lauren, but they said they were supposed to get all their power on yesterday. But it's sad what they went through, man. But yeah, man. For I just want to say God bless everybody. Happy Wednesday for people who pulling up. Thank y'all so much for the likes. Happy Wednesday. For y'all that don't know, I was laying foundation earlier that Donald Trump has a $10 million bounty on his head. It's posted all over the Iranian news and media outlets over there. So, like I said, for y'all to just get in here, I'll play this video one more time. I really want to lay foundation. Thank y'all so much for the likes, man. I appreciate that, yo. I really do. And God bless y'all and happy Wednesday again. But I really want to lay foundation for where I'm going with Donald Trump because I'm gonna go a whole completely different direction with what I think is going on. But I feel like this is important laying foundation because this is currently what's going on and being presented to us in the news. So check it out again, one more time.
The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is putting a hit on President Donald Trump's son, Barron Trump.
So the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Thank y'all so much for the likes, man. Yo, I appreciate that. For real. Thank y'all, man. So we're talking about the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, okay? So this is an actual organization, okay? They have put a hit out on Barron Trump, which is Donald Trump's youngest son, okay?
With an inflammatory video claiming to track his location. State-run television in Iran is broadcasting a propaganda video claiming to show the locations of his residence, university, and personal security, according to opposition outlet Iran International. Iran's with a $10 million offer for the life of the president's son. The Iranian regime has a long history of threatening the lives of Trump, his family, and his allies, often in graphic ways. Depictions of the president being killed appear frequently on signs, billboards, and other public displays in Tehran. Trump has not commented on the threats being made against his family, but regularly acknowledges and muses on the fact that he is, quote, #1 on the kill for Iran.
And what's crazy, he probably #1 on the kill list in the United States, too, in his own country. Because look at how many attempts on his life we had. Yo. And they're going to keep going. So it's a lot of moving parts. But in particularly, the youngest son has been brought to the fold in the public eye, and as far as permanent, like I guess termination, deletion. You know what I mean? So 18, what's up, 18? How you doing? 18 said it takes time to rebuild grids. Linemen has to come in from other states, purchase generators after hurricane states, purchase generators after Hurricane Hugo. My family, we were out of electricity for a month and didn't suffer. That's crazy, 18. That's a long time. Wow, 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 wow. And Hurricane Hugo was horrific. So I'm glad you were able to get back right. 18 said, stop depending on daddy government. And man, God bless everybody, man, for being in here Wednesday. I hear you, 18. And yo, man, I just appreciate y'all. So again, just laying down foundation. And we praying for everybody that's the whole state of Indiana, you know what I mean, that was affected. Um, yeah, I appreciate y'all. 18 said I was in Connecticut. Yeah, man. So we just praying for Gary. We're praying for people in Anderson and all the other nearby towns that they tornado hit, man. So we just want to, send out prayers to y'all, and I hope that everybody can get back right soon, man. Yeah, man. So prayers to y'all. But yeah, man. Right now we're talking about Donald Trump apparently has a $10 million bounty on his head, um, coming out of the country of Iran, and they're blasting it all through their media outlets, news outlets, about particularly where he goes to school, where he lives, how many security guards that are following him, like the whole security detail. They're laying like details out, and they put cash money on this dude's head, bro. So I don't know particularly what's going on, but I do know that media that's put out in this country is also allowed. And so I'm always playing devil's advocate and thinking, well, why would they even present to us something like that, like Barron Trump hysteria? You know what I mean? Having a bounty. What in America can we do to possibly protect the president's son when there's a bounty out in a whole nother country? Why would you even put that out to the media? I'm gonna tell you why. And it's a completely different, unorthodox angle, but I just want y'all to just rock with me. So this is Barron Trump, Donald Trump's youngest son. He has a bounty out, okay? So check out the angle I want to explore with y'all.
To some of you, I ask that you listen to me all the way through because this is 100% true. It is not fake. There is a book written about Trump, and his dad is the last president of the Republic of the United States. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. There was a rumor going around that there had been a book written about a young boy named Barron Trump, whose dad becomes the last president of the United States, the Republic of the United States. This book was reported to have been written sometime in the 1800s. So as usual, me, Samantha, went digging. Not only did I find the book, I bought the book. And today we're going to deep dive for the first time into this book. I can tell you what I found out about the author, whose name was Ingersoll Lockwood. From everything I found, yes, he was a Christian. Yes, he had a lot of work in government, everywhere from embassies to even being over a prison at one point. Now, I will share more about the author further into the video, so you're not going to want to turn it off, guys, because this is all very important. The reason I find this interesting is because President Trump's son is named Barron. And we have all heard rumors, prophecies, and words given by people saying that President Trump will legitimately be America, the Republic, the United States of America, the constitutional republic's very last president, right? I mean, if you're a Christian, if you're living in this day and age, you've heard somebody say that. So to have found a book that was published on this date over 100 and almost 30 years ago, talking about the last president of the United States in a trilogy with a young boy named Barron Trump, well, I couldn't pass it up. Now, whether you believe a time traveler wrote this.
Boom. So I'm gonna park right there for a second. What I just, I don't know if you guys were listening, but this lady, which is true, came across this author named Ingrid Lockwood that wrote a series of books between 1893 and 1910, a trilogy called The Adventures and the Travels of Barron Trump and the Underground Travels of Barron Trump and the Last President. Now, these books were written over 130 years ago. So how can you have a book called The Last President when the president is named the Don, that has a son named Barron Trump who has ties to Russia? This is real stuff. And like I said on this channel, I like to really, I purposely look for things that are not trending. And God presented this right in my lap. The Lord God presented this right in my lap because he knows my heart. We literally in real time have a bounty out for Barron Trump in another country for $10 million and don't nobody care. That's good. That's good. So that means I can really tap into what I really want to tap into and not have to worry about people being interested unless they're the certain elite that are called to, you know what I mean, be interested. So I'm like, perfect. This is so perfect to talk about. Because unless you're about that life and can relate, you're going to think this is insignificant. And that's good. That's good. That's good for us. Ain't that right, millennial? That's good for us. So check it out. This is what more she got to say about these series of books.
A demon or somebody filled with the Holy Spirit. The fact is, the book was written. And right now, together, I'm going to make some excerpts out of it. Not much, because I believe if you want to read it, you need to purchase it. But I'm going to read some of the good stuff for you guys. Get ready, sit back, get something to drink, tell her ready to go away, and give mom and dad a few minutes. Because, folks, this is amazing. Now I'm going to read for you some sections of this book because I think these are very important. Throughout the length and the breadth of the South and beyond the Great Divide, the news struck every hamlet and village like the glad tidings of a new evangel, almost as potent for human happiness as the heavenly message of 2,000 years ago. Bells rang out in joyful acclaim, and the very stars trembled at the telling over and over of what had been done for the poor man by his brethren of the north. And around the blazing pine knots of the southern cabin, and in front of the mining camps of the far west, the cry went up, "Silver is king! Silver is king!" Black palms and white were clasped in that strange love feast, and the dark-skinned grandchild no longer felt the sting of the lash on his sire's shoulder.
Wow.
All was peace and goodwill, for the people were at last victorious over their enemies who had taxed and tied them into a very living death. Now the laborer would not only be worthy of his hire, but it would be paid to him in a people's dollar for the people's good, and now the rich man's coffers would be made to yield up their ill-gotten gain. and the sun would look upon this broad and fair land and find no man without a market for the product of his labors. Henceforth, the rich man should, and was right and proper, pay a royal sum for the privilege of his happiness, and take the nation's taxes on his broad shoulders where they belong. Motley armies marched upon the capital of the republic, the railway trains, night and day, vast crowds of new men, politicians of low degree, men out of employment, drunken and disgruntled mechanics, farmers' sons to seek their fortunes under the reign of the people, healers and hangers-on of ward bosses, old men who had not tasted office for 30 years or more.
Wow.
All inspired by Mr. Bryan's declaration that the American people are not in favor of life tenure in the civil service, that a permanent office holding class is not in harmony with our institutions, that a fixed term in appointed offices would open the public service to a large number of citizens without impairing its efficiency.
Yo, thank y'all for the
All
likes.
bearing
Thank
news
y'all.
in their hands or across their shoulders, each and every one of them supremely confident that in the distribution of the spoils, something would surely fall to his share, since they were the common people who were so dear to Mr. Bryan and who had made him president in the very face of prodigious opposition of the rich men, whose coffers had been thrown wide open all to no purpose, and in spite, too, of the satanic and truly devilish power of that hell upon earth known as Wall Street.
Oh, shit.
Which had
Hold on. This book, The Last President, was written in 1910, and it's referring to Wall Street as being satanic. Hey, man, thank y'all so much for the likes, man. God bless y'all for being in here. Thank y'all, man. Yo, this book was written over 130 years ago. I think it's in the Library of Congress. Ingrid Lockwood wrote a trilogy, The Last President, The Underground Travels of Barron Trump, and The Adventures of Barron Trump. These are real books. Mind you, I just set the foundation earlier stating that Iran has placed a $10 million bounty on the head of Barron Trump, Donald Trump's youngest son. Why is this significant? Because in these three books, Donald Trump, Barron Trump weren't even around. They weren't even thought of. But yet you have a Barron Trump king, and his dad is named Don in a real book. The script was written. Exactly, brother. And that's what I'm trying to get people to see. There is a lot of things that we're emotionally invested in that's scripted already. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to maybe bring some type of awareness to it so we can bring the hysteria down to a little, just a notch. So let me let her continue to cook, because it is really referring to Wall Street back in 1910 as being satanic, and you know what the symbol is for Wall Street, right? Ball, or the bull, ball, the bronze bull. And according to the Epstein files, allegedly that's what the celebrities, sacrifice kids to, and all of that. So Wall Street and Donald Trump and his wall. I'm glad hey bro, keep that energy too, bro, about that wall, because what I'm about to show you in a few with this show, there's a series that came out in 1951, a cowboy series that came out in 1951, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna show that clip, and we're gonna keep that energy. But right now, yes, sir, Dante said that insane. This book is older than time, right, bro? So how can a book that predates Donald Trump and his granddad, like everybody, how can this book be so accurate if it's not that it has to be a script? Or it proves that we are really in a simulation, or what Lauren was talking about yesterday with the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is nothing simply but a group of people who collectively believe an event happened, but it really didn't. That's literally the definition of the Mandela effect. Cowboys again. And like Dolly halftime. Yes, bro. Yes, a millennial. And I'm gonna tie into the whole cowboy thing in Donald Trump with this show I came up with when I creeped up on, bro. Shaq say at the same time though, Iran got a pool like that. It's not all smoke. Yes, sir. It's not all smoke, bro. You are exactly right. They definitely got the pool and the means to pull something like that off, Shaq. I'm with you on that, bro. Yup. Millennial said Back to the Future Part 2. Yeah, bro. When they ended up in the 1800s in the couch, yo, I'm about to show you some shit, bro. And after I'm gonna let this lady cook about these books, I'm gonna show you what I came up on, y'all. So yeah, EJ, what up, EJ? What up, bro? God bless you, brother. It also might be the into the bloodline of the president. Yeah, bro, because all unrelated, EJ. You are exactly right, bro. It's definitely about bloodlines. Because when you're talking about masonry, you're talking about lodging. Okay? Lodging. And so once you break down essentially what lodging means, you can understand why bloodlines in the particularly the 13 Illuminati bloodlines. That's a book. EJ, check out that book, the 13 Bloodline Illuminati Bloodlines. It's a good book to start piecing some stuff together, EJ. Welcome, brother. 18 says, everyone is talking about all the Hollywood effects of lots of people transitioning at once. Yeah, 18. Yeah, 18. And 18, Dolly Parton just hit me different. I just don't, you know what I mean? Even though she was 80, everything she had going on, she had a museum. She was about to open in a few months. She had the truck stop she just built. She had a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? She on the record asking for money from Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, asking, essentially, can she have a baby? 18, you know what I mean? You remember that I played it? She asked, can I have your newborn? Can I have it? Because I heard it's going to be a special baby. Damn. You know what I mean? So, girl, it's a lot. But even, and we say all the time over here, the truth is stranger than fiction, man. So even with what's going on with Barron Trump now, and like Shaq said, they definitely have the means to pull off what they saying. The bounty, the $10 million joint, it's crazy that we're even dealing with the Barron Trump energy, because my mind just automatically and systematically goes back to these books, which are in the U.S. Congressional Library. You understand what I'm saying? These books. And when asked about the books, when Donald Trump asked about, there's no legitimate answer other than it's just a coincidence, a crazy good guess. But now we can start to talk about the Mandela effect. Now we can start to talk about time travel. Now we have to deal with Nikola Tesla's relationship with the Trump family. You see what I'm saying? And I dealt with all of this in my life, but I don't mind kind of giving a brief synopsis on, you know what I mean, just to try to make things make more sense to y'all. So, yeah. Dante said, is it for entertainment purposes and educational, brother? A little bit of both. Check out what she got to say.
Gold in vain in its desperate efforts to fasten the chains of trust and the claws of soulless monsters known as corporation upon these very common people, soon to march in triumph before the silver chariot of the young conqueror from the West. The inaugural address was not a disappointment to those who had come to hear it. It was like the man who delivered it, bold, outspoken, unmistakable in its terms, promising much, impatient of precedent, reckless of result. A double confirmation that this was to be the reign of the common people. That much should be unmade and much made over. And no matter how the rich man might cry out in anger or amazement, the nation must march on to the fulfillment of a higher and nobler mission than the impoverishment and degradation of the millions for the enrichment and elevation of the few. And he threw himself into a chair.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? They're speaking of a president coming to save the common working class, middle class people. You know what I mean? They're saying that a president is coming like a knight in shining armor to distribute the wealth evenly amongst the working class instead of isolating the wealth for the few. This book is over 130 years ago, yo. Come on. The reason I think this war is the real deal is because Iran is literally the oldest civilization alive. Civilization alive today. I agree, bro. And they always had beef, particularly with America. You know, just that region in general. Because, man, essentially this is all about religious war, bro. It always has been since the Crusades, and is always going to continue to be a religious war. Shaq also says this ceasefire, and when I say religious war involving the United States, I'm talking about the Zionists. This ceasefire is giving everyone time to choose a side, and then it's a wrap. I agree, bro. You gotta choose a side. You gotta choose a side. You gotta choose a side. That's how they box you in, bro. I agree with you on that, man. Hey, man, I appreciate the likes, y'all, man. Hey, man, God bless y'all for being in here, man. For real. Happy Wednesday to y'all. Excuse me. I'm gonna let the lady continue to cook, man. I done caught up on the comments, y'all. But yeah. So y'all tell me though, particularly, what do y'all think about these books and these series of books as it relates to Donald Trump? I'm with Barron Trump and what's going on now with Barron Trump's the bounty on his head. Lauren, what's up, girl? What's up, Mr. Lister in chat? Can't stay. Off to the doctor. But I will catch y'all later. All right, man. I hope all is well with the doctor. I hope everything is just a routine checkup and stuff like that, man. So, yeah, man. I appreciate you, Lauren. Hope all is well. But yeah, y'all. So what do y'all think? You know what I mean, about this lady cooking about. Hey, Lauren, do you know about the books that's about Barron Trump and Donald Trump, Lauren? The last president, the adventures of Donald Trump, and the underground adventures of Donald Trump. Do you know about those books, Lauren? Because that's what I'm talking about now. And the reason why I'm bringing it up, you see, because I feel like it's relevant to what's going on with Barron Trump's now. Barron Trump has a $10 million bounty on his head that's issued by Iran. And so I decided to go a completely kind of Gnostic angle, you know what I mean, with what's going on. Being that these politicians, these are the very things that they're into, the dark arts, things that we are not even privy to. All of our names originate from stories of Trump's ancestors, originate from stories. Trump ancestors read the story and name their kids accordingly. Makes sense, Shaq. Hey, that makes sense, bro. Yeah, those books are all true. Hey, man, they definitely accurate. I'll say that. I definitely they have some accuracy to them. Dante says, choose a side of guys, choose between good and evil. And that's the thing. And that's what we were breaking down yesterday. Like, well, the term necessary evil, which goes with energy, which isn't lost nor destroyed. So it's not judgmental on where it goes. It just goes through transformation and mutation. So you're always going to be dealing with duality. So any type of electricity or magnetism or electromagnetism, you're going to deal with poles, either a north or south pole. Like, you know what I mean? There's always going to be opposing forces that's forced to work together. You get it? Force. Force equals what? Energy. Force, with force comes friction. But through friction, you gain momentum, which causes force. You know what I mean? Let me see. Millennial said, it's about to be an even level playing field. Yeah, bro, that's the way it's looking. And that's what she was saying in the book. She was saying, according to the book, the next president, or the last president, which is Donald Trump, comes in to equalize Wall Street and shift it away from its essential nature of being satanic and everything that come with it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. To get a deeper grasp on how Wall Street works, look up the movie Wolf of Wall Street with Leonardo DiCaprio. That's kind of a good depiction on how things roll. Millennial says, right, that's what he was put into place to do. Yep. He was put in this place to disrupt the matrix. Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, he was placed here like every other president was placed in, to throw off the matrix. Yes, sir. So let's get into more of what she was talking about with these books, y'all. And man, I appreciate everybody for being in here, y'all. And God bless. Thank y'all for the likes, man. I appreciate that too. So let's check it out, see what old girl talking about.
And seizing a sheet of official paper, penned the following order and directed its immediate promulgation. Executive Mansion, Washington, D.C., March 4th, 1897. Executive Order.
You hear this shit? 1897. I'm gonna ride this shit back.
Number 1.
So you understand? So you understand what's going on?
Universal gold standard may be stayed. The President orders and directs the immediate abandonment of the so-called gold reserve, and that on and after the promulgation of this order, the gold and silver standard of the nobler mission impoverished. Then he threw himself into a chair and, seizing a sheet of official paper, penned the following order and directed its immediate promulgation. Executive Mansion, Washington, D.C.
So listen, they talking about the president immediately coming in, signing an executive order to change shit. Hold on. Let's see.
March 4th, 1897. Executive Order Number 1. In order that there may be immediate relief in the terrible financial depression now weighing upon our beloved country, consequent upon and resulting from the unlawful combination of capitalists and money lenders both in this republic and in England, and that the ruinous and inevitable progress toward a universal gold standard may be stayed, the President orders and directs the immediate abandonment of the so-called gold reserve, and that on and after the promulgation of this order, the gold and silver standard of the Constitution be resumed and strictly maintained in all the business transactions of this government. It was too...
You heard that shit? This is March 4th, 1897 that this book that they're talking about that this shit took place, bro. Dante said he saw that movie. You saw Wolf of Wall Street? Yeah, it was ill. Millennial said, and he signed almost 100 executive orders in his first day. Yes, sir. You remember? Walt? Hey, bro, Millennial, you remember, bro? He was going off, and he's still signing executive orders, and he stopped. Dante said, that was a long time ago. Yeah. Yep.
In the afternoon, when the news of this now world-famous executive order was flashed into the great banking centers of the country. Its effect in Wall Street beggars description.
You're right, Millennial.
On the floor of the
March
stock
20th,
exchange,
2006.
men yelled and shrieked like painted savages, and in their mad struggles tore and trampled each other. Many dropped in fainting fits or fell exhausted from their wild and senseless efforts to say what none would listen to. Ashen pallor crept over the faces of some while the blood threatened to burst the swollen arteries that spread in purple network over their brows of others. When silence came at last, it was silence broken by sobs and groans.
Wow.
Somewhat stood dumbstruck, as if it was all a bad dream, and they were awaiting the return of their poor, distraught senses to set them right again. Ambulance were hastily summoned, and fainting and exhausted forms were borne through the hushed and whispering masses wedged into Wall Street, to be whirled away uptown to their residences, there to come into full possession of their senses, only to cry out in their anguish that ruin, black ruin, stared them in the face if this news from Washington should prove true. So he's basically saying in this book that the first executive order of this president in this book, right, would be to actually back the United States dollar with gold or silver, making it an actual weighted currency, ending the New World Order, going over to a digital currency, because our paper, money's worthless. It's not backed by anything anymore. Could you imagine if Trump did this? What Wall Street would happen there? Could you imagine how quickly the rich would lose their wealth? Let that sink in, folks. The first act to pass both houses and receive the signature of the president was an act repealing the Act of 1873 and opening the mint of the United States to the free coinage of silver at the ratio of 16:1, with gold, and establishing branch mints in the cities of Denver, Omaha, Chicago, Kansas City, Spokane, Los Angeles, Charleston, and Mobile. The announcement that reparation had thus been made to the people for the crime of 1873 was received.
Oh, reparations, bruh. They got reparations in this book. And they got specific places. Bruh, holy shit. They got specific places where they were gonna get it. Chicago, Kansas. I'm gonna run that shit back, man. What the oh shit. I gotta get that book, bro. Yo.
Yep. To some of you, I ask that you listen to me all the way through, because this is 100% true. It is not fake. There is a book written about and trembled. We, with the president, and trembled. We are Omaha, Chicago, Spokane, Los Angeles, Charleston, and Mobile.
So Charleston, Wichita, Los Angeles. Wow. According to this book, these are all the spots, according to the Act of 1873, they getting reparations, bro. Wait until they find out what Trump was really put in place to do. Yeah, bro. That's crazy. That's the Trail of Tears. Yes, sir.
16:1, with gold, and establishing branch mint in the cities of Denver, Omaha, Chicago, Kansas City, Spokane, Los Angeles, Charleston, and Mobile. The announcement that reparation had thus been made to the people for the crime of 1873 was received with loud cheering on the floors and in the galleries of both houses. And the great North heard these cheers and trembled. We are the people, wrote the president. We the people, says my shirt, right? So it's so cool, guys. And then it goes on to say, when a Republican member of the House arose to move the usual adjournment for the holidays, there was a storm of hisses and cries of no, no, said the leader of the House amid deafening applause. We are the servants of the people. Our work is not yet complete. There must be no play for us while coal barons stand with their feet on the ashes of the poor man's hearthstones, and weeds and thorns cumber the fields of the farmer for lack of money to buy seed and implements. There must be
exactly,
no play for-
bro. Exactly. Those are all the northern states, bro. Yes, sir. Which are split from the west. So you Colorado, Kansas, Chicago, Los Angeles. You know what I mean? That's west. Then you got the South, and then the Great North. Yep.
Us while railway magnates press from the pockets of the laboring man 6 and 8% return on.
It's gonna be civil war, bro. They already put in them. It's gonna be civil war. It's gonna be a divide. It's gonna be a great split. The country gonna split, man. Especially if you refuse the federal help. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna stall you out. Natural disasters, heart machines, allegedly, DARPA, all this shit, bro. They're gonna force you to want and need the federal aid. You feel me? That's like how it began, how it's gonna end. Mirror image. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look, bro. That's like I said, man, these natural disasters and shit that you see in Gary, Indiana, you thinking all this shit is actually natural. When they got fucking machines that can create clouds, you know, to manifest weather. You see what I'm saying? Look up DARPA and look up HAARP. HAARP. HAARP, DARPA and HAARP. Look it up. Weather programs. Millennials say first flight was to make us work. Second fight is to try to make us reparations. And that's what they talking about, bro. In this book, I'm gonna put it again. How many? She according to this book, she named the spots, the particular states that's gonna get the reparations.
Would be to actually back the United States dollar with gold or silver, making it an actual weighted currency, ending the New World Order, going over to a digital currency, because our paper money's worthless. It's not backed by anything anymore. Could you imagine if Trump did this? What Wall Street, what happened there? Could you imagine how quickly the rich would lose their wealth? Let that sink in, folks. The first act to pass both houses and receive the signature of the president was an act repealing the Act of 1873 and opening the mint of the United States to the free coinage of silver at the ratio of 16:1 with gold, and establishing branch mints in the cities of Denver, Omaha, Chicago, Kansas City, Spokane, Los Angeles, Charleston, and Mobile. The announcement that reparation had thus been made to the people for the crime of 1873 was received with loud cheering on the floors and in the galleries of both houses. And the great North heard these cheers and trembled. We are the people, wrote the president.
You're right, millennial.
We the people, says my shirt, right? So
first shall be last.
It's so cool, guys. And then it goes on to say, when a Republican member of the House arose to move the usual adjournment for the holidays, there was a storm of hisses and cries of "No, no," said the leader of the House amid deafening applause. "We are the servants
Yes, sir,
of the people.
Dante.
Our work is not yet complete. There must be no play for us while coal barons stand with their feet on the ashes of the poor man's hearthstones, and weeds and thorns cumber the fields of the farmer for lack of money to buy seed and implements. There must be no play for us while railway magnates press from the pockets of the laboring man 6 and 8% return on thrice watered stocks. And the landlords, enriched by inheritance, grind the faces of the poor. No play for us, enemies of humankind, or by means of trust and combination and corners, engaged in drawing their unholy millions from the very lifeblood of the nation, paralyzing its best efforts and setting the blight of intemperance and indifference upon it, by making life but one long struggle for existence, and indifference upon it, by making life but one long struggle for existence, without a gleam of rest and comfort in old age. No, Mr. Speaker, we must not adjourn, but by our efforts in these halls of legislation, let the nation know that we are at work for its emancipation. And by these means, let the monopolists and the money changers be brought to a realizing sense that the reign of the common people has really been entered upon. And then the bells will ring out happier, gladder new year than has ever dawned upon this republic. So what do you think about our elderly right now? How I showed you guys the other day that they have cut food stamps in the state of Hawaii. Yeah, they have reduced American citizens' food stamps and of all places, Hawaii, right? Now, I want you to hear this last little bit, and then my best advice to you is get this book, friend. The opposition fairly quailed before the vigor and earnestness of this new dispensation. There were soon before the House and pressed well on toward final passage a number of important measures calculated to awaken an intense feeling of enthusiasm among the working classes. Mm-hmm. Among these was an act establishing a loan commission for the loaning of certain monies of the United States to farmers and planters without interest. An act for the establishment of a permanent Department of Public Works. Its head to be styled Secretary of Public Works, rank as a cabinet officer and supervise the expenditure of all public monies for the construction of public buildings and the improvement of rivers and harbors. An act making it a felony punishable with imprisonment for life for any citizen or combination of citizens to enter into any trust or agreement to stifle, suppress, or in any way interfere with full, open, and fair competition in trade and manufacturing among the states. You guys, I would vote for any president that would do just a little bit I've talked about. Look, we're going to keep going, but it's time for me to feed my husband. It's been a long day, and it's my third video today, guys. I love you. Let me tell you something. If the Holy Spirit has been telling you to do something, whether it's write a book, write a poem, open up a YouTube, start a garden, get out of debt, marry your girlfriend, whatever it is, friends, obedience is better than sacrifice. This gentleman wrote this book. He didn't know that in 2024, a Southeast Louisiana woman would be sitting in her home on September 18th, 2024, reading it to 51,000 people. He didn't know that a young man named Barron Trump's daddy would be running for president of the United States. He didn't know any of that. But he had a download for a story from the Holy Spirit. Think about that. The things that make you go, Enjoy this next quick clip about who the author is and a little bit about this book. Love you guys. Don't forget, make sure you're still subscribed.
Lockwood had established a parallel career as a lecturer and writer. It was common for authors of the time to publish pamphlets and then go on the circuit advertising their thoughts from these pamphlets. In 1884, Lockwood married Winifred Wallace Tinker, a
Check this out, y'all. Everybody good? Everybody all right? Check this out.
Ancestors, when just entering the 20s.
My boy said, Millennial says she don't want to lose subscribers, so she mask it. I fix fucks with it though. Right. She conscious, bro. Dante, Millennial said, as long as we get the message, that's the most important part. Right. I'm with you, bro. Dante said, this woman talk about the pros about these people. Mm-hmm. Check this lady out, y'all. I got you.
Called Castle Trump. His guide, it's July of 2017, and an old, dusty series of books resurfaces on a Reddit forum that would unleash a fury of time travel speculation. It's a forgotten series of books from the 1800s, and it gave us a boy named Baron Trump. His home, called Castle Trump. His guide, a master called Don. That's just the tip of the iceberg, literally. Somehow, a lonely, obscure author in 1889 describes details of the biggest political upset in the history of America. And believe it or not, that's not even the weird part of this story. What Reddit readers didn't know was that this 130-year-old rabbit hole had ties to Nikola Tesla, the FBI, the Titanic, a portal, and Abraham Lincoln. Now, if you don't already believe...
Now, this story is significant in a lot of ways because this story of the last presidents deals with Abraham Lincoln. It deals with the Titanic. It deals with the FBI. It also deals with Nikola Tesla. Why is this important? Because Donald Trump's uncle, John Trump, was an engineer, okay, of energy. And he was called in by the FBI and the CIA to look at the drawings and the patents, over 80 patents of Nikola Tesla's works, right as he died in his hotel room in New York. Now that's true. So to have a story that's written in the 1800s that mention these things, I don't know. But it's very cool that these books are in the U.S. Library of Congress. It's in Washington. So, are we living in a simulation? You know, Shaq, Millennial, talk to me. Are we in a simulation, or is it just coincidence that these books were written?
In time travel, you may want to buckle up for this story. This is one deep dive that you don't want to miss. It's 1889, and a New York lawyer publishes a children's adventure novel. And yes, this man was very real. And he was somebody significant. You see, when he was 21 years old, Lockwood was appointed a United States consul by President Abraham Lincoln, the youngest man in the entire consular force. That's the author that we're dealing with. And the book he published in 1889 is called Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump. That's the name printed on the cover, sitting in the Library of Congress, and you can read it right now for free.
You just heard it right. You could go read it for free. It's in the Library of Congress. It's in the Library of Congress, bro. I just told you that. That's where the book's at, right in Washington. You can go check it out for yourself.
Correct. That manuscript was written by a long-dead master the book calls the master of all masters, a man named Don. And I want to pause on what the story's ancient manuscript says. It tells Baron Trump that there are portals and doorways into a world inside our world, and that those portals are located in northern Russia. Now, I'm quoting the actual book here. doorways whose entrance might be invisible to ordinary eyes. Now, that was the name of the book printed on the cover, sitting in the Library of Congress right now, and you can read it. I want to buckle up for this story. This is one deep dive that you don't want to miss. It's July of 2017, and an old, dusty series of books resurfaces on a Reddit forum that would unleash a fury of time travel.
You're right, bro. Millennium Baron.
It's a forgotten series of books from the 1800s, and it gave us a boy named Baron Trump. His home called Castle. His guide, a master called Don. That's just the tip of the iceberg, literally.
So it talk about a boy prince named Baron Trump, and his guide and master is called the Don. In a book that was written in 1800. Get the fuck out of here, man. This book is in the U.S. Congress, Library of Congress, y'all.
Somehow, a lonely, obscure author in 1889 describes details of the biggest political upset in the history of America. And believe it or not, that's not even the weird part of this story. What Reddit readers didn't know was that this 130-year-old rabbit hole had ties to Nikola Tesla, the FBI, the Titanic, a portal, and Abraham Lincoln. Now, if you don't already believe in time travel, you may want to buckle up for this story. This is one deep dive that you don't want to miss. It's 1889, and a New York lawyer publishes a children's adventure novel. And yes, this man was very real. And he was somebody significant.
That's Baron Trump.
You see, when he was 21 years old, Lockwood was appointed a United States consul by President Abraham Lincoln.
So the person who wrote this book was appointed by Abraham Lincoln to Congress at 21 years old. That's how it was. This dude also used to run a prison at one time. Abe Lincoln, Civil War, you already know.
This man in the entire consular force. That's the author that we're dealing with. And the book he published in 1889 is called Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump. That's the name printed on the cover, sitting in the Library of Congress, and you can read it.
Library of Congress. Don't miss it.
Is called Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump.
The Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump. Look at this. Look at this. This is a real book. The U.S. Congress Library. This is where this book at. You can go read it. America's Worst Nightmare in those 3 books. You better know it, brother. But it's giving you the landscape of what's going on. Why wouldn't you want to know the truth? You know what I'm saying? So you can brace yourself on what to expect. You know what I mean? You can go read this shit. It's public record.
That's the name printed on the cover, sitting in the Library of Congress, and you can read it right now for free. Now hold the press for a minute. Love him or hate him, this is not a political episode. This is not a political channel, and it never will be. Put your bias next to you on the table, because this is a story about other things, not politics, and the potential.
Bingo! This is a story about other things, not politics, not the $10 million bounty they got on Baron Trump's head right now that ain't nobody but us on this channel. Never mind the politics. I want to take down a different rabbit hole to give you another perspective to consider. You know? Let's continue. Everybody good? Everybody all right? Let's continue.
Time travel? There's no other explanation. Let's keep going. Now, that was the book printed on the cover, sitting in the Library of Congress right now, and you can read it for free. The hero of this series is described as a young aristocrat. He's described as brilliant, adventurous, supremely sure of himself, a boy with the swagger of someone twice his age, carrying himself far beyond his years. His family home is called Castle Trump. The sequel was published in
You heard this shit. The family home was called Castle Trump. Sound like Trump Towers to me. Yeah. She breaking down the story. The family home where they live was called Castle Trump. I can't believe that time travel is real. You better believe it, Dante. The truth is stranger than fiction, brother. And once you understand the Nikola Tesla's role and who Nikola Tesla is and his role in the Trump phenomenon, hey, tell them, somebody better tell them, millennial. Let's keep going.
1993, and that one was called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. It's about a boy finding his destiny in the crumbling pages of a 500-year-old manuscript. That manuscript was written by a long-dead master the book calls the master of all masters, a man named Don. And I want to pause.
You heard that? Hey, man, I appreciate y'all for being in here, man. Millennial Steve Urkel even showed it's real. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But you really gotta have a respect for the work of time travel. You have to study Nikola Tesla. You know what I mean? It's good to make metaphors and comparisons with fictional caricatures, you know. But you got the real thing. We got Nikola Tesla. You know what I mean? And once you go down the rabbit hole with him, and like I said, Donald Trump's uncle, John Trump, was an engineer. I just told you, who was summoned by the U.S. government to look over Nikola Tesla's patents after he died to see did any of the patents reflect any type of threat, or was it like a weapon or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, before we get on this, I'll go back to that. I feel like I gotta bring that up just to show y'all I'm not making this shit up. Donald Trump's uncle, John Trump, was an engineer and did an interview saying that he was called in by the government. It's hard to hear it, but if you know, you know, called in by the government to look over Nikola Tesla's patents. Nikola Tesla was known for trying to create a time travel machine. What's up, Lillian? What's going on, girl? How you doing? Hope all is well, man. Yo, if you don't know Lillian, Donald Trump's son, youngest son, Barron Trump, got a $10 million bounty on his head from the nation of Iran. And so instead of going down a political rabbit hole, I wanted to go down a more esoteric and you know what I mean, Gnostic road by talking about the adventures of Donald Trump in those 3 books, The Last President. So I don't know, Lillian, if you're familiar with those books or not. But yeah, man, Lillian in the house, y'all. I just heard that. Yeah, girl, it's some real shit, man. And so we've been minutes ago. Yo, it must be in the algorithm, girl. Well, definitely go back and rewind this joint, Lillian, and check it out, yo. Cause we on that. We on that. But yeah, Lillian, that's crazy you heard that. Y'all heard that? Lillian just heard about the bounty too, y'all. Lillian heard about the bounty. So instead of going down a political road, which I assume everybody's gonna go down, dealing with the war, talking about what's obvious, we're gonna go down this road of these real books that exist in the U.S. Library of Congress in Washington that you can go read it for yourself for free. Oh, thank you, Lillian. And so, I just want to kind of confirm the relationship of Donald Trump's uncle, John Trump, Nicholas Tesla, through this interview. Let me see if I can try to find it. Donald uncle John Trump. And John Trump was a professor at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. That's for free. I just want to let y'all know that. John Trump, Donald Trump's uncle, his daddy brother, was an engineer at MIT before later starting his own company. So, see if I can find something. Boom, here we go.
In the upper floor of a warehouse.
All right, now listen.
New York, I boarded.
It's hard to listen, but this is John Trump. For the people in the back, this is Donald Trump's uncle. This is Donald Trump's uncle, our president of the United States. This is Donald Trump's uncle, John Trump, who was a professor at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, before later starting his own thing. Was called in by the government out of the admission of his own mouth. Thank you, Lily. Out of admission of his own mouth to look over Nikola Tesla's patents to see if any of them were the drawings in pretty much the prototypes of any weapon or threat. All right. So listen, it's hard to listen, but please try your best, y'all.
From New York, I boarded a plane to Boston to find Dr. John Trump, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Dr. Trump retired from the company he founded.
I'm running again.
From New York, I boarded a plane to Boston to find Dr. John Trump of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Dr. Trump was now retired from the company he founded, High Voltage Engineering, but he agreed to meet me at the company office the next morning.
In the spring of 1943, Dr. Carl T. Compton, who was then president of MIT, asked me to go to New York and examine the effects of Nikola Tesla.
Boom. Y'all hear that? In 1943, god damn, the president of MIT asked him to go to New York to look at some shit off of Nikola Tesla. 1943. I'll rewind it back. I love this.
Dr. Carl T. Compton, who was then president of MIT, asked me to go to New York and examine the effects of Nikola Tesla. These were contained in the upper floor of a warehouse somewhere in New York City. And I spent a good deal of time examining one by one the papers, the books, and various other memorials that he had accumulated. But I was particularly looking.
Boom. That's Donald Trump's uncle, John Trump. How to use direct electrons. Hell yeah. And not only that, time travel. How to use those beams to not only raise the dead, but to time travel and to bend and manipulate time through electromagnetism. Right, you right, Shaq. Microwave radar, yes sir, yes sir. And sonar for underwater. Sonar too, bro. Sonar technology for submarines and shit. All of that, Shaq. I'm telling you, bro, I just don't be saying shit just to be saying it, bro. I know this shit before I even look it up through the Holy Spirit. And I'm telling you, John Trump, which is the uncle of Donald Trump.
For something which would just be evidence
Look at him.
of a secret weapon.
Look, that's Donald Trump's uncle. Y'all get a good look at him. Donald Trump's uncle was a professor at MIT. This nigga been at MIT since 1943. God damn. You don't, and he inherited and got charged to look over Nikola Tesla's drawing. Donald Trump has this information and has access to this shit, allegedly. Now we can get back to the book. I'm gonna let Donald Trump uncle cook a little more about Nikola Tesla, but he's telling you that the government called him in to look over Nikola Tesla's shit to see about a weapon. Okay, and that weapon is that energy weapon that they've been using to fuck up people like Hawaii and everywhere else. The energy beams. Shit. And MIT developed collapsology and how civilizations end. That's crazy, Shaq. That's crazy. Shaq also says he got the Medal of Science in 83 by Reagan. Shut the front door, Shaq. Come on, bruh. Shit. Dante said that was so long ago. Is that a car? Shit. Yeah. The Back to the Future car. Shit, the time travel car. Tell them about it, millennial. Shit. Tell them about it, brother. Back to the Future for real. You know what that car was? Check this shit out, yo.
Have accumulated, but I was particularly looking for something which would just be evidence.
Hey, bro, they don't know about the DeLorean, bro. They don't know about the GMC DeLorean, cuz. They know, fam. Tell them, man. Tell them, millennial. But, yo, look at Donald Trump. This Donald Trump uncle, bro, engineer. In 1943, he was charged to look at Nikola Tesla's one by one every patent to see was there a weapon being created. Crazy word.
I was somewhere in New York City, and I spent a good deal of time examining one by one the papers, the books, and various other memorials he had accumulated. But I was particularly looking for something which would just be evidence of a secret weapon, which I was reminded by the two agents who were present during the entire time, was a matter of concern to the United States. In the course of this, I did come across a number of letters directed at the upper echelon of the British Empire, that is, I think, to the King and Queen, or perhaps just to the King of England, and also to the Tsar of Russia, explaining that he was the inventor of a secret weapon.
You hear that? The Tsar of Russia and the King of England. This shit crazy. I hope y'all listening, man. I really hope y'all paying attention to what the hell this dude is saying, bro. Because it ties into the book.
The upper echelon of the British Empire, that is, I think, to the King and Queen, or perhaps just to the King of England, and also to the Tsar of Russia, explaining that he was the inventor of a secret weapon which had rather remarkable properties, and that he would be interested in entering into a negotiation which would lead to a disclosure of what they were. Of course, I spent a good deal of time looking through these papers, trying to find out what the nature of this secret weapon was. I think I had, although I don't remember it so very accurately, an idea of what its properties were. It had the capability of acting at a great distance, of being destructive to flying objects and things of that kind at a place which was remote from the source. But nowhere in his technical papers did I find anything which revealed an explanation of just how such a device could operate.
I believe that you also opened another box, supposedly a secret weapon that he left at another hotel. Can you relate that story, please?
Yes, when I had substantially concluded my study on the following day, I think that was a Saturday morning, I was reminded by one of the two agents that there was a box being held as a security for an unpaid obligation, and that this box was an item of considerable value and may indeed itself be the secret weapon, that it was armed and therefore it probably was not touched.
Were you nervous doing that?
I found it a matter of a bit of concern. However, I realized that this had to be done, and so we taxied down to this hotel. And the agents identified themselves.
Okay, so now they're going to the hotel. This is the hotel where Nikola Tesla stayed at and died at. They talking about a box that could potentially be valuable, like beyond money, invaluable. Shaq say, Dante say, so that stuff came from Donald Trump, uncle. It came from Nikola Tesla, but Donald Trump was charged by the government and told by the government to look through it and dissect it and make sense of it. The company that made the DeLorean, the GMC brother, DMC was a front for Cuban smuggling. Ooh, come on, Shaq. Come on, Shaq. Ooh, Shaq. All this shit has been happening so long. We only have our ancestors to blame for this fucking over. Yeah, man. But at the same time, man, it's the Great Awakening, man. It's a great awakening, bro. So all ain't lost. You know what I mean? I feel like the more and more people that come together like us, man, and we just start to challenge the system by asking questions and not necessarily falling for what they present us. And, you know what I mean? Taking everything face value and shit like that. Nah, we passed that at this point, bro. Shit, they knew way before us. Hell yeah, they knew way before us, but they didn't understand the implications of technology and how technology would influence and shape our reality either. They allowed it to happen, right? But I'm talking about from a technological standpoint and essentially evolution, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the psychological standpoint, I got you on that. I'm with you totally on that, and how how that can breed bad behaviors as a result of not acting on what you saw coming down the road. But essentially, man, the technology aspect of it, nobody saw, the implications of what that was, how that was going to be such a vital part of our society and how we function and everything we do. You know what I mean? Lily said, yes, I'm suffering from stupid people being around a smart. Right, Lily. Right. Bad behavior breeds religion. Okay, all religion is a repetitive cycle of behavior that turns into an institution called religion. You know what I mean? It ain't what you say, it's how you act and conduct yourself. That's your religion. I don't give a fuck what you tell me. You're a Christian. You worship your dog. I don't give a damn. It's about your day to day, and especially what you do in the dark shadows when ain't nobody around. When you doing that real shadow work, that's your real religion. What you more consistently attached to and involved in is your religion. Any civilization that exists that had the data to know that it would eventually collapse and do it anyway, starting all the way back to the right. So what I'm saying is, bro, it's inevitable. If you study history, Shaq, everybody got about 250 years to reign. You know what I mean? Yo, even Egypt started to get invaded, bro. Like it's inevitable type thing. Lily, Lily, yeah, man, shit. You, shit, Lily, you could believe in your dog, your cat, your whatever. We live in a country where you have freedom of religion because it's pretty much how you conduct yourself consistently. Is what you pledge allegiance to. Chat said they knew farming from the start that in order to do it, you need to destroy an entire forest and watch animals, homes, and burns and everything. I said, yeah, bro. But you living in a country where it's greed, bro. American greed, and you can't escape that. The powers that be, who really, the movers and shakers, are greedy, and so they don't have no regard for anything dealing with nature. They are not ruled by the law of nature or the meta nature. You know what I'm saying? Or nature and natural has the same connotations and same energy. So anything that is natural essentially works in harmony with nature. And so you're dealing with a people that aren't natural biologically. Let's start there. And that has nothing to do with pigmentation or anything like skin pigmentation. We're dealing with people that you can't tell that they're shapeshifters. Just because somebody has 5 hands, I'm sorry, just because not 5 fingers on each side, 10 fingers and 10 toes and 2 eyes, it don't mean you're dealing with a human being. I'm telling you. And the more and more the truth come out with these disclosure files with the UFAs and UFOs and UAPs, you will understand that they're gonna start to disclose to you that we're not the only race walking amongst us. You have certain races that look just like you that doesn't classify them as being human. I don't think they are aliens. You ain't gotta think they're aliens, bro. The alien, what is the word alien? The alien, I think somebody who is illegal in this country is an alien. You're an illegal alien. So, Shaq, if you're not a citizen, where are you from? Where are you from originally? You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not, you know, you ain't got your papers, or if you ain't born here, you an alien. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. You're not even understanding what I'm talking about when I talk about aliens. I'm not talking about no people walking around with green and gray. Alien from another country, men, black type stuff. Right. Alien from another country. Meaning, if you are illegally here, you are considered to be an illegal alien. They aren't lizard people either. Nah, I'm telling you, um, get that type of stuff out of your mind and break down what alien means. What does the word to alienate somebody? What does that mean? You do know that the word alien comes from alienate, right? don't like to take people to class, man. Or demons. Right. See, if you want to talk about that, that's cool. You could do that. But I ain't on that energy. I talk about shit that's real. And if you don't understand what alienate means, to alienate somebody, or what is alienate, then we can deal with the word alien and what it means, and then the perception of alien. It all has a chronological order to it. I like class. Take me. I got you, Lillian. I got you. To alienate, I love that, Lillian. To alienate is to cast aside. Is to single out. Is to single out. So when somebody is in this country illegally, you are alienated because you are the minority. You have not done the necessary things to do to become legal by being born on American soil, or go through the proper channels to become a legal citizen. So therefore, you are an illegal alien, meaning people have the right to alienate you because you are not of this culture legally. So if you apply that mindset into every facet, including what you say, lizard people, demons, angels, and whoever else you want to, whoever, is the term does not change. I live a life according to definition, and I don't need the definition according to what circumstance I'm dealing with. A definition is what it is across the board with me. Now, interdimensional beings, demons, angels, whatever, lizard people, whatever. I understand that people have the right to believe in that. And I'll be a dumbass to discredit what somebody else believe in when I can't prove it don't exist. Let's start there. When you discredit something, you have to come with tangible evidence to prove that it don't exist. Other than it sounds preposterous. You know what I'm saying? So I don't discredit nothing that I'm not going through the links of proving it don't exist. When I'm thinking of terms probability versus possibility, and thinking of the quantum in actual interdimensional stellar celestial beings. For you to try to quantify that with your natural eye and not understanding that, other dimensions do exist. Interdimensional objects exist through mathematics. So if we're dealing with interdimensional, what is that meaning? What does that mean? So when we talk of Lillian, tell them what is a tetrahedron? What's a tetrahedron, Lillian? I wish Lauren were here. I'm talking about the powers that be. Hell yeah. But the powers that be is on what I'm on. You see what I'm saying? The powers that be are on the frequency that I'm on when they talk about the laws of nature, and the actual the stuff is the Project Bluebeam, is the Project Bluebeam bullshit. You see what I'm saying, Shaq? You know about the Project Bluebeam. The fake alien invasion and all of that shit. That's what you talking about. Project Bluebeam. See, we ain't on that. We ain't on Project Bluebeam. We gonna call Project Bluebeam out. 3-dimensional shapes, right? You see what I'm saying? It all starts with the sacred mathematics of geometry. And then once you see how geometry works, that you can have interdimensional shapes through geometry, then you were like, well, shit, you can't discredit interdimensional beings, if you have interdimensional shapes that exist, which are the building blocks and the foundation of what we consider matter. You see what I'm saying? So if mathematics proves through geometry that interdimensional shapes exist, why would it be far-fetched to believe when we have multi-dimensions to believe that other things exist in the interdimensional state? That's what I'm saying. Even on the spiritual side, nothing can be separated. Right. What you see in reality, you can't have more or less because it's entropy. Right. Mm-hmm. That's right, bro. It ain't no separation. People done and spent their life and created businesses and living doing, making you think there's a separation, Shaq. That's people whole propaganda in every facet that people decide to put their concentration and energy and time into, is to cause division, to make you think everything ain't working together in harmony. Everything ain't everything. Everything ain't connected. When in fact, the more and more we break down stuff, even with the Dolly Parton thing that me and Millennial was building on yesterday, like, man, once you go down the rabbit hole and see how everything is connected, man, the truth is stranger than fiction. Meaning you can't even make some of this shit up that's going on. You can't even make it up, bro. Lillian said everything is ascending. Absolutely. Including our consciousness, Lily. Our consciousness is ascending. That's why with you notice you feel lighter. I'm starting to feel lighter. Like you feel lighter. That's your soul ascending. That's your consciousness. What's good with it, brother? What's good with it, Prince Bud? What's good with it, family? You already know what it is. What's good with it? Shaq say, so if they are playing God, they must see God, which takes me back, or must be inspired by God. You feel me? To take me back to the point that we been fucked this whole for ourselves. I want to be positive though, but we know nature is brutal. Right? Nature is brutal because nature deals with in seasons, brother. And that's what you gotta understand when you dealing with nature. Nature doesn't deal with time, which is linear, which is always going directions. You cannot stop or bend time. I mean, you can, but then we'll get into other stuff. But just for regular people, just for basic conversation, basic level, primordial conversation, yo, you cannot go back in time or get time back and things of that nature. So time travels, but it travels forward and it travels horizontal, linear. You know what I'm saying? So once you talk about things dealing with nature, you're talking about things that are seasonal. Now you're talking about things that are cycles or sickles or circles, meaning that you're the circle is the square, meaning that you have spring, winter, fall, and summer. You have north, south, east, and west. Okay, and these things work in harmony with each other. This is the first GPS, and this is the first sense of direction. You see what I'm saying? So nature deals with what's natural. So nature deals with what we call seasonal, meaning that it's reciprocal. It's gonna be reciprocal, like a circle. It's gonna come winter. It's gonna come the same time next year, and the year after that, summer, spring. The seasons are set in place. You see what I'm saying? because that's how you're able to reap and harvest based on how the seasons are set year after year. You know what I'm saying? Lily said, earth angles. Right. Earth angels are earth angles. Angels are angles of light. Okay, so angels travel through light, or what we call light years. Okay. Prince Bud said, finally caught you up, bro. Hope all is well. Yeah, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you being here, Prince Bud. And I'm glad you caught me, man. God bless you, man. Happy Wednesday to you, my guy. Lillian says, yes, our bodies are catching up to the ascendant. Absolutely. But your body can't ascend. Your soul, your body is essentially going to have to be left behind for the complete ascension. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, if you choose to sell you choose the other soul, which is the souls of your feet, which govern your path, the path you choose, because we all have a free will to choose our path. So if you choose the keep your soul here, that's how you do it. Yes, our bodies are catching up. Yeah. So I said, yeah. That's why we feel lighter. Yes, sir. Yes. That's why you feel lighter. And to the point where you're literally not supposed to be walking. That's where the great fall comes from. We're really supposed to get used to flying, because where we came from, where we always existed, God, when God says, I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb, we were flying. We had wings. See what I'm saying? So in the next dimension, matter doesn't matter. Shaq say the earth will win at the end, right, of it all. Mother Earth, yep. Because Earth is a living organism. And these leaders know that the planet is literally cooking all of is and is and they taking as much as they can before they die too. Yeah, bro. But if you're not worried about this 3D plane, dimensional plane, you ain't even concerned about none of that. You know what I'm saying? If ascending is what is most important, then dying, you ain't even gotta worry about it. This is temporary. There are no lines. You remember, energy cannot be lost nor destroyed. Just what? Transform from one party to the next. There are no lines in nature. Exactly. There's everything is curved. Millennial like that. Now we're talking about the arch. Everything is curved. Nature is what's natural, and nature has no lines. It's a circle, curves. Everything curves. Shaq say a spirit cannot exist without something to contain it. It can exist, bro. What do you mean? You have all type of spirits that exist. Spirits aren't created in through humans. So yeah, bro, spirits can exist. Just because you can't see them, don't necessarily mean that they need a living body to inhabit. Yeah, bro. The 3D still matters just as much. Bro, that's subjective. It matters to you. It can matter to you. It don't matter to me. How does it matter when we all are in charge of our own destiny? You have fate and you have destiny. You know what I'm saying? But if you had the power to choose, and if somebody say, man, matter doesn't matter to me, that can explain why a lot of people live like they live. You see what I'm saying? Everybody that you see that's a bum or living a certain way, without you knowing a story, there's a lot of people that choose to live a certain way because of what matters to them. You see what I'm saying? So essentially, everybody has a measure of what's important, most important. You see what I'm saying? Especially certain people that you deal with that deal in the dark arts, man, they ain't thinking about actual life, like actual life, the 3D reality. They are so disconnected from the matrix. You actually tried this, you actually tired of this world. If you are tired of this world, you are ascending. Correct. Hunting and gathering was a peace on earth. Yup. That is literally the spiritual world. Right. Yup. Everything. And look what happened with the hunting and gathering though. It's like natural disaster. There you go, nature. Nature. You had to respond to what Mother Earth was doing, and you know what I mean. You kind of transition from the hunter and gatherer. You know what I mean, and the whole nomadic to being more of a stationary, because at the end of the day, you're a prisoner to what you hunting and gathering. So wherever you hunting, wherever they live at is where you live at. And you gotta go according to how nature is telling you how to, you know what I'm saying? Cause that's how the animals move, based off of nature. Because they are they are instinctual. You know what I mean? And shit, killed or be killed during the hunter and gatherer age, shit, killed or be killed. You know, survival of the fittest. That's where all of that starts to get implemented. Everything has to have balance. Yes, because cause and effect. Straight up, bro. Everything has to have a balance. Cause and effect. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, which comes from the golden rule: do unto others as you will have them to do unto you. You are absolutely correct, Prince Bud. And that essential cause and effect, for every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction. That's Newton. The same nigga who dealt with gravity, the law of gravity. What goes up must come down. At the same accelerated force that you threw it up, it's gonna come down equally the same. Based on weight, ratio, and inertia. You already know, Lily. You already know. Check. There's actually proof that it was the elites who convened them to start farming instead, that it was which us from that to be farming, and they use spiritual belief to do it. Damn right, bro. There you go with the spirit. You cannot cut the spirit off. You cannot separate the spirit from the 3D what matters. It's like the 3D dimensional world is supposed to reinforce and confirm that the spiritual is real, and that the spiritual is just as significant as our day-to-day, you know what I mean, in the natural world, the natural realm. So I'm with you, brother. Shaq. Hey, Millennial, ain't heard from you, brother. I hope you good, fam. And I appreciate you again, Prince Bud. Actually, if you do good and have good caution, that good things will happen and fall. But now let's talk about this in on a macro level. Now let's take a step back. As a country, we are getting to that point that we're 250 years old, and we just celebrated the 250th anniversary of our independence. But statistically, looking at world powers, this is the beginning of the fall. After the 250th year, subsequently, you see more world powers start to be on the decline. So when you say if we do good and expect good to come to you, holistically, if we're in a decline where we're all are in trouble with, let's say, like food shortages or gas prices, how just shit that's become unbearable, where we like third world status, that ain't based on what nobody did good or bad. Another case in point, when you have babies that's born with like terminal illnesses and stuff like that, like how can you explain, a child having such a hard way to go growing up when they ain't do nothing but just exist and be born? You see what I'm saying? So you just have other cases where maybe that might not apply, but you know what I mean? I definitely get the you reap what you sow, and what you get out is what you put in. I definitely understand that, but there are some things that are outside the realm of you know of law. Dogs and cats are a part of nature. You already know, bro. And shit, that's what George Clinton said from Funkadelic Parliament. Why must I be like that? Why must I chase the cat? Nothing but the dog in me. You feel me? But if you understand the cat and the dog and the story of dark matter and the whole story of creation through the Egyptian story of creation, you'll understand the dog is Anubis or Anu. And I ain't gonna reveal who the cat is, but you could put two or two together. Who the dog and who the cat is the story of duality. It's the story of creation. The dog and the cat. We talking about the atomic dog. You know what I mean? Atomic, the atom, atomic energy, cosmic energy that enters what? The black hole. Essentially, that's what we're dealing with. The divine feminine, okay, in relations to the masculine. That's what the dog and cat represents. Essentially setting the blueprint for how nature works in harmony through duality, through spirituality, you feel me? And natural. And you know what I mean? Nature. Or the meta nature, which is the balance, or Prince Bud. So I know you know about the Maya. If you're talking about balance, this is all Egyptian stuff. The meta nature, the Maya, Maat, weighing the heart against the feather, essentially, or setting the tone so you can go through the afterlife. You know what I'm saying? So, but getting back on this guy, because when essentially you're talking about the afterlife, now you're starting to tap into the time travel aspect. You see what I'm saying? And we're talking about portals and doors, which it was in this book, which you're talking about in this book, essentially, with Donald Trump's son, Barron Trump. Prince says, yeah, I've heard about it, but I want to know more. Okay, bet, man. Shoot, the Maya is essentially the balance of how ancient Egypt ran their civilization, bro. Which is the first signs of what we know as justice, the balancing. So when you looking at the justice symbol, you see that Lady Justice is blindfold, but holding a scale. That concept comes from ancient Egypt through the tradition of the Maya. Okay, so when you think about the Maya, think about the balancing and think about Lady Justice. Okay. Yep. Hold on for a second, y'all. Yo, what up, fam? I'm back, fam. What's good with y'all? Dante say, so the world of power is going to fall. Yeah, bro. We a world power. So shit, we history shows that every world power has about 250 years of reign before some type of invasion, before some type of shift. You know what I mean? Where we don't become where you don't become the world power no more. You're not the world leading nation. So we're at the beginning of the new evil, which comes in on the new year. So yeah. So 2027 is going to be very eventful, to say the least. Prince Bud said, "Okay, I think I understand." Yes, sir. So for y'all, just getting here. God bless y'all. I'm glad y'all here. I went live today to talk about it, and particularly, it was very interesting. Donald Trump's son, Barron Trump, he is literally has a $10 million bounty on his head from Russia. So what I wanted to do is to kind of talk about that right quick and kind of give y'all a little brief synopsis right quick on what's going on with that. Check this out.
What exposed him was that he had a digital sanctuary himself. His communications away from the eyes of the supervisors ended with voice and text chats on Xbox.
So bingo. Donald Trump's information gets leaked on Xbox, and we all know who runs Microsoft. Bill Gates. Why is this important? Because of the Epstein files. Okay. So let me see if I can get a little bit more clarity of what's going on.
An individual that Trump appointed who can be removed.
His guide,
I'm coming, y'all. There we go. Bam.
The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is putting a hit on President Donald Trump's son, Barron Trump, with an inflammatory video claiming to track his location. State-run television in Iran is broadcasting a propaganda video claiming to show the locations of his residence, university, and personal security, according to opposition outlet Iran International. Iran's report concludes with a $10 million offer for the life of the president's son. The Iranian regime has a long history of threatening the lives of Trump, his family.
You see that? So Iran got a $10 million hit on his head. Why is this important? Because I was just showing y'all about this book.
His guide, a master called Don. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Literally.
There's a book that came out about Barron Trump by the author Lockwood, Ingrid Lockwood. He came out with this book in 1893 with a series of books called The Last President, The Underground Adventures of Donald Trump, and The Amazing Adventures of Barron Trump. So, you know what I mean? I thought it was very interesting considering that we never really heard about Barron Trump coming to the public fold until this very moment. So, one must have to ask yourself, why would they pick now to present Barron Trump to the public? And you know what I mean? What's going on with that? And it ties into me, everything going on with the New World Order, with the Antichrist, with the social imperialistic mindset of governments trying to reunite what they feel is rightfully theirs: Russia, Ukraine, China, Taiwan, United States, Canada, and Mexico. You see what I'm saying? But predominantly United States and Canada. You see what I'm saying? And everything that's going on with that. You just seeing like-minded North Korea, South Korea. You're just seeing like-minded imperialistic, socialist, communist type of behavior. You know what I mean? That's the kind of the denominator that I'm putting together, where there's a sense of entitlement, where all the countries that split off, that were looking for some type of liberation, now all of a sudden, there's a lot of reconstructing going on, to say the least, all happening simultaneously, which to me ties into what the New World Order stands for, and what's going on with the one world currency and plans for that. So yeah. So I said all that to say, with the president's youngest son, Barron Trump, his ties in lineage to Russia through millennia, all of this was put in a book. This book is in the U.S. Congress, the U.S. Library of Congress, okay? The U.S. Congress of Library. So it's right there for free. You can go to Washington and read it, okay? So now that I kind of gave you a little summary, we can get right back into what I feel like the relevance of Barron Trump and the $10 million hit from Iran. Get it, Iran. And this lady, what she got to talk about. So check it out. I think it's interesting.
2017, and an old, dusty series of books.
Hold on. Before I start, though, I want
to guide
read what you said right there. But maybe because they're seeing the evil on the wall and either want to paint over it or rebuild it. Absolutely. And keep that energy. And I told Millennial earlier too, keep that energy about that wall. So the wall and the great fall, because what I'm about to show you in a minute is an old Western that came out in 1951. It was a series, and they only had 2 seasons. But in one of the episodes, a guy by the name of Trump comes to town to tell the people that the world is coming to an end and to build a wall. You cannot make this shit up. So let me see. Dante said Bill Gates is corrupt. You already know. Millennial said facts. Yeah. So check out what this lady's talking about these 3 books. Again, these 3 books are real. These 3 books talk about a young prince named Barron Trump with a mentor named the Don that lives in a castle called House of Trump. It also talks about a president, that's name is Trump, called The Last President. What's significance about these books, that they were written 130 years ago, over 130 years ago, and that they are now in the U.S. Congress of Libraries in Washington. Okay. Now, I feel like what I just said about that and what's going on with the $10 million bounty Barron Trump is the beginnings of seeing the new world order take place. Who is going to be a part of it, really, in the true essence of legacy, in dealing with Antichrist type energy? Okay, so let's check it out.
It's July of 2017, and an old, dusty series of books resurfaces on a Reddit forum that would unleash the fury of time travel speculation. It's a forgotten series of books from the 1800s, and it gave us a boy named Barron Trump. His home called Castle Trump. His guide, a master called Don. That's just the tip of the iceberg, literally. Somehow, a lonely, obscure author in 1889 describes details of the biggest political upset in the history of America. And believe it or not, that's not even the weird part of this story. What Reddit readers didn't know was that this 130-year-old rabbit hole had ties to Nikola Tesla, the FBI, the Titanic, a portal, and Abraham Lincoln. Now, if you don't already believe in time travel, you may want to buckle up for this story. This is one deep dive that you don't want to miss. It's 1889, and a New York lawyer publishes a children's adventure novel. And yes, this man was very real. And he was somebody significant. You see, when he was 21 years old, Lockwood was appointed a United States consul by President Abraham Lincoln, the youngest man in the entire consular force. That's the author that we're dealing with. And the book he published in 1889 is called Travels and Adventures of Little Barron Trump. That's the name printed on the cover, sitting in the Library of Congress, and you can read it right now for free. Now hold the press for a minute. Love him or hate him, this is not a political episode. This is not a political channel, and it never will be. Put your bias next to you on the table, because this is a story about other things, not politics, and the potential for time travel? There's no other explanation. Let's keep going. Now, that was the name of the book printed on the cover, sitting in the Library of Congress right now, and you can read it for free. The hero of this series is described as a young aristocrat. He's described as brilliant, adventurous, supremely sure of himself, a boy with the swagger of someone twice his age, carrying himself far beyond his years. His family home is called Castle Trump. The sequel was published in 1893, and that one was called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. It's about a boy finding his destiny in the crumbling pages of a 500-year-old manuscript. That manuscript was written by a long-dead master the book calls the master of all masters, a man named Don. And I want to pause on what the story's ancient manuscript says. It tells Barron Trump that there are portals, hidden doorways into a world inside our world, and that those portals are located in northern Russia. Now, I'm quoting the actual book here. Doorways whose entrance might be invisible to ordinary eyes. And the manuscript repeats one strange phrase over and over. On its mildewed pages, it says, "The people will tell thee." Now, 7 years after that first book, Lockwood put down the children's stories and wrote something very different. He wrote a short novel called 1900 or The Last President. The book opens on election night, Tuesday, November 3rd, 1896. An outsider candidate, a man the establishment mocked, a man the newspapers swore could never win, shocks the country and takes the presidency. New York City absolutely erupts. Mobs pour through the streets, the police lines break, and the book names the first target of the crowd's fury. And I quote, "The Fifth Avenue Hotel will be the first to feel the fury of the mob." Then the new president announces his cabinet. And sitting on that list in a book printed in 1896 is a man named Pence. Now here's where I have to stop and correct the internet.
Wow.
Because half the posts about this book will tell you that the fiction...
Y'all already know who Pence is. Pence was Donald Trump's first vice president. And I'm going to show you the significance of Pence because Pence's house is an observatory for like observing planets and stars and space and shit. So you got a vice president that claims to be a devout Christian, by the way, who but whole life is into observing astronomy, which was kind of reinforced with all I've been saying this whole time. Christianity is astrology. I know people don't want to hear that shit, but it is, man. It's the same thing, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. I just feel like everybody's telling the same story, but to discredit and to discredit the common denominators, I ain't gonna say that's ignorant, but that's kind of shows how we've been conditioned through culture. You know what I mean? I'll just say that.
Is named Trump, but he's not. It's William Jennings Bryan, and he was a real candidate from the real election of 1896. So no, Lockwood did not write President Trump. What he did is actually stranger. He wrote the script. The outsider nobody saw coming, the shock victory, the streets of New York erupting, the Fifth Avenue Hotel, a cabinet man named Pence, and history just waited 120 years to recast that lead. And while we're being honest, you may have seen posts claiming that that hotel stood exactly where a certain famous Trump Tower stands on Fifth Avenue today. Now that's false. The real Fifth Avenue Hotel stood on the same street but 30 blocks south, and it was torn down in 1908. And now we're going to go deeper in the rabbit hole. I'm going to read you the actual first sentence of the last president, describing the election results hitting New York. The city staggered under the blow like a huge ocean liner which plunges full speed with terrific crash into a mighty iceberg. An ocean liner at full speed into an iceberg, printed in 1896.
The Titanic.
Now hold on to that sentence, because 16 years later, that exact disaster unfolded on a ship called the Titanic. And here's where the story gets bigger than just one author, because the 1890s did not have a shortage of authors accidentally writing the future. Meet author number 2. His name's Morgan Robertson, a former merchant sailor turned writer. In 1898, 2 years after Lockwood's iceberg sentence, Robertson published a novel called Futility. It's the story of a luxury liner, the largest moving object ever built by human hands. Wow. A ship the world would call unsinkable.
Wow.
She races across the North Atlantic on a freezing April night, carrying the wealthiest, most elite people of her age. And lifeboats for less than half the souls on board. Why? Well, because the law said that was enough. And out of the darkness, an iceberg and the unsinkable ship sinks. Almost everyone dies in the freezing water. Now, I don't know about you, but doesn't that sound awfully similar to what would happen in April of 1912 to a ship called the Titanic? Robertson wrote it 14 years earlier. And the name he gave his fictional ship? The Titan.
Yep.
The Titan was 800 feet long. The Titanic? 800
Hey, Millennial. You hear that name? The Titan. Titanic. The Titan. Well, didn't I say we got to watch about the Tennessee Titans? You know, over here we say everything in Tennessee Titans. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was the name of that's what the Titanic means. The Titanic means the Titan. Wow. Wow. Let's go.
Robertson never called himself a prophet. He said he simply knew ships, and he did.
So now it's got me thinking about the ships and shit. When we oh shit, bruh, the Abraham Lincoln, the USS Abraham Lincoln. We talking about the Baron Trump, the amazing adventures of Baron Trump. It talk about Abraham Lincoln. It talk about portals in North Russia, and it talk about the Titanic, unsinkable ships, Iran, right? Bingo, bruh. The U.S. Abraham Lincoln, bruh. The warship was fucked up, and people were having suicidal thoughts, bruh. You had soldiers on the USS Abraham Lincoln. I did a live about this a few days ago about the soldiers jumping off the ship, the USS Abraham Lincoln. Y'all heard about it? Motherfuckers is writing to their wife saying, "I want to kill myself." Like the moral, they was like the moral code is. I'm talking about mold. The food was contaminated. The toilets don't flush, don't work. And this was, and why is this important and significant? Because it all tied. Everything is related. Everything that's going on simultaneously with Barron Trump, Iran, every single detail is connected. Everything that's going on in society with what they present to us, mind you, is related. And I just put that together like, I'm like, hold on, man. They keep talking about this ship and Titanic. Wait a minute. And then the Tennessee, the Titanic means the Titan. And you know, yesterday we was tying in a Dolly Parton and everything she had going on with Tennessee. And it tied into, you know, the Mannings. Like, man, everything is connected, man. But yes, the USS Abraham Lincoln is definitely related to what's going on right now. But we are literally in the middle of the end times right now. And yo, just get your popcorn and just watch, because it ain't got shit to do with us. We gonna be straight. I swear it's crazy, Prince Bud. This shit crazy, bro. I'm telling you, everything that we've been lied to and said don't exist, they got it in the Epstein files. So what, the Epstein files lying to? Okay, don't believe in lizard people. Don't believe in this. Don't believe in Tyler. Bruh, this truth is stranger than fiction. Whether it's real or ain't real, it's wild. And so I just rather stay on that frequency. Just observe, to see what else they won't roll down the red carpet. I'm ready to see Bigfoot. I'm ready to see Godzilla. All that shit. Go ahead and let them in, man. Yeah.
That liners were getting too big too fast, and that lifeboat laws hadn't caught up. Expertise can explain the disaster.
What millennials say, fast. Just don't get involved and you're going to be good. Just watch it. Just watch the movie, bro. That's it. Just watch it. Like, damn, bro. That's a shame. Like that. And keep it pushing, yo. And man, I appreciate everybody, man. I hope everybody good. Happy Wednesday, yo. For real. But yeah, man, let's just check out this more, see what old girl got to talk about. I'm telling you, these series of books are describing to a T what's going on, bro. Facts.
Expertise does not explain the name and the details of its sinking. And here's the part that should raise the hair on your arms. Robertson himself believed something was riding through him. It's documented in a memorial book published by the people who knew him, that Robertson believed, quote, some spirit entity had commandeered his body and brain to write the stories that made him famous. That is the author's own explanation.
That's crazy.
So you tell me.
You hear that, Shaq? That was for you, Shaq. That's affirming what you were saying, how spirits are entering bodies. The dude that wrote these books said that the spirit entered his body, a spirit entered his body and possessed his mind to write these books. This is out of the author's own mouth. The dude went crazy. The dude was appointed by Abraham Lincoln himself to be a part of Congress. The youngest person at 21 years old. He also at one point ran a prison. I just like the movie, The Titanic. Yeah, me too. Crazy.
Is something reaching backward through time, planting these stories ahead of schedule, or is something or someone using storytellers to prepare us? There's even more. and it keeps happening. In 1838, Edgar Allan Poe published his only novel. In it, 4 shipwrecked and starving survivors adrift at sea draw lots, probably the worst drawing in the history of novels to lose. And the young man who loses is a cabin boy named Richard Parker. He does not survive what happens next. Now that's all part of the novel. But 46 years later, a real ship went down. The 4 real survivors faced the same terrible choice in a case still taught in law schools to this day. And the real cabin boy's name who died was Richard Parker. Multiple authors, one area, writing about disasters at sea decades before they existed, right down to the names. So let's end back where we started, because I had to know who was Ingersoll Lockwood. Are there any other explanations for his writing of the future? So in summary, he was born in 1841 in New York. His father ran Sing Sing prison. At 21, he was handpicked by Abraham Lincoln to be the youngest diplomat in American service. He went on to become a lawyer in New York City. In 1892, his marriage ends in divorce. And it's in the years right after the loneliest stretch of his life that the strange books pour out of him. The Underground Journey, The Portals, The Last President, and here's what the record does not show. No seances, no spirit circles, no occult plays. No interviews where he explains himself. There's literally nothing. History barely bothered to remember this man at all.
Yep.
And that absence is the strangest part. Because think about what Lockwood actually wrote in one of his books. A story about a forgotten manuscript written by a long-dead author sitting ignored for centuries until someone finally reads it. And then discovers that it holds knowledge of a hidden world. Now think about what happened to Lockwood. His books sat forgotten for 120 years until the internet found them and discovered that they seemed to hold knowledge of our world. He wrote the story of his own rediscovery. In 1893, this man was already writing about hidden worlds that choose to bury what they know. Which brings us to how the story ends and the biggest tie to time travel begins. In 1912, by now he's an old man, Lockwood publishes his final book, and on its opening page he places 2 photographs, side by side, himself at 35 and himself at 70. 2 versions of the same man from 2 different times, staring at each other across the page. And in the preface, he wrote that his end was near, and that he was, in his words, only waiting for the signal to begin his voyage to another world. He died in 1918, and that is only where the author's story ends, because history has one more Trump family entry waiting, and it's the strangest one of them all. Fast forward to 1943, the New Yorker Hotel in Manhattan, room 3327. A maid is sent to clean the room and arrives to knock on the door and announce housekeeping, pauses, but gets no reply. Because there's a do not disturb sign on the door, instead of entering, she knocks it in and repeats, housekeeping, here to clean. Dead silence on the other side of the door. So she pauses, then decides to ignore the do not disturb sign and opens the door. She takes several steps.
This ties into what I was playing with John Trump. Okay? So I'm going to rewind it back. Wow, this is the Holy Spirit. God, I got right now, just thank you right now for this knowledge, God. I thank you for the people that's in this chat right now that we all just sharing and learning together. It's a privilege and honor, for real. Y'all listen, yo. This literally ties into what I was telling y'all about Donald Trump's uncle, John Trump. Okay, he was an engineer at MIT in 1943, and John Trump says the president of MIT at the time told him that the government wanted him to come down and look at Nikola Tesla's stuff, you know, because he had passed, and they wanted to see was any of his patents some type of a weapon that they need to worry about or was a threat to. And they also called John Trump, Donald Trump's uncle, down to New York to this same hotel where she's describing, where the housekeeper, in 1943 to look into this box. I'm gonna let her finish the story, and then I'm gonna show you Donald Trump's uncle in 1943. They're gonna both tell the same story. That's crazy. Wow. I'm gonna go back a little bit.
And the tower came down. And if you watched my last video, in his wireless electricity it pauses but gets no reply, because there's a do not bring at each other across the page. And in the preface, he wrote that his end was near, and that he was, in his words, only waiting for the signal.
This is about to be Nicholas Tesla.
To another world.
Check out
He
the
died
hotel.
in 1918, and that is only where the author story ends, because history has one more Trump family entry waiting, and it's the strangest one of them all. Fast forward to 1943, the New Yorker Hotel in Manhattan, room 3327. A maid is sent to clean the room and arrives to knock on the door and announce, "Housekeeping," pauses, but gets no reply. Because there's a do not disturb sign
What up,
on the door.
Martario? What's up, man? Martino, what's up? I'm out here, bro. The end times right here. I see the third eye open. Yes, sir, bro. And said, bro, we are all ascending, man. We're all ascending, bro. We all ascending, man. Check it out, though. Check it out, the hotel store. She tell about the.
Instead of entering, she knocks again and repeats, "Housekeeping, here to clean." Dead silence on the other side of the door. So she pauses, then decides to ignore the do not disturb sign and opens the door. She takes several steps inside to find an old man dead in his bed. His name is Nikola Tesla. The most mysterious.
You heard that? Nikola Tesla dead in his bed in the New Yorker hotel. I'm gonna say it again. 1943, the New Yorker hotel housekeeper find Nikola Tesla dead in his hotel room where he been staying. This is the same story that Donald Trump said the president of MIT in Boston called him in 1943 to this hotel to look at some of this shit that Nikola Tesla had. I love it.
Pauses, but gets no reply. Because there's a do not disturb sign on the door.
Thank y'all for the likes, y'all.
She knocks again. So she pauses, then decides to ignore the do not disturb sign and opens the door. She takes several steps
to find
inside
Nikola
to find
Tesla
an old
dead.
man dead in his bed. His name is Nikola Tesla, the most mysterious inventor who ever lived. And what was Tesla's great obsession? The dream he chased harder than any other?
Time travel.
Free energy. He built a tower on Long Island designed to pour wireless.
So he wanted free energy. So damn right they wanted him dead. Oh. So that was Nikola Tesla's whole mission. Free energy. Hell, that totally goes against what the government tried. Free? Nigga, please. Free energy? He had to go. He had to go. My God. I thought it was time travel. Free energy. That's bigger. That's way bigger than time travel. Damn.
Housekeeping pauses but gets no reply. Because there's a do not disturb sign on the door, instead of entering, she knocks again and repeats, "Housekeeping, here to clean." Dead silence on the other side of the door. So she pauses, then decides to ignore the do not disturb sign and opens the door. She takes several steps inside to find an old man dead in his bed. His name is Nikola Tesla, the most mysterious inventor who ever lived. And what was Tesla's great obsession? The dream he chased harder than any other? Free energy. He built a tower on Long Island designed to pour wireless electricity into every home on Earth until the money vanished and the tower came down.
Wow.
If you watched my last video, you are.
This nigga came up with a tower to put electricity in every single home on Earth in 1943. This nigga had a tower built on top of the damn hotel he was staying on, bro. You can't make this shit up. Wow. Incredible.
You know what tends to happen to the people who chase that dream of free energy. In his final years, Tesla claimed to have designed inventions decades ahead of the planet, including a weapon so far beyond its time.
Here go the weapon. Here go the weapon. When I played for you, Donald Trump, when he talked, he told you. He said, bro, they sent me here to see if this dude was manufacturing a weapon that could be a threat. I told y'all that. And she telling me. Y'all, I'm watching this shit in real time, just like y'all.
Notice. And in the world of time travel, Tesla is a legend all his own. Because the story goes that back in 1895, after a massive electrical accident in his laboratory, Tesla told a reporter that he had nearly been killed that day. And the legend says he claimed something even more. That in that instant, caught inside that field, he could see the past, the present, and the future all at once. Now, within days of Tesla's death, the United States government sweeps in and seizes dozens of trunks of his papers and belongings. And then they need someone brilliant enough to judge what's inside.
There you go.
The man that they bring in is a respected MIT professor of electrical engineering. His report still exists in Tesla's declassified FBI file, which you can read today. And the professor's name? It was John G. Trump, Donald Trump's uncle. That professor's official conclusion, still sitting in that declassified file, was that Tesla's papers were primarily, quote, speculative and philosophical, nothing of significant value. Think about that. The government seized everything the original free energy dreamer ever wrote, and later returned his belongings to a family member. I can't leave out the fact that 80 trunks were seized and 60 were returned. 20 were missing and considered lost. You decide what that one means. Fiction put the name Trump next to the hidden worlds and a shocking presidency in the 1890s. And 50 years later, actual history put the same family name inside the sealed files of the most mysterious inventor who ever lived. And on the report that closed them. Nobody planned that. Nobody could have. And yet, there it sits in the public record, waiting for anyone who bothers to look. So what is this? Door number 1, it's a coincidence. Patterns are cheap. The human brain tries to find faces in clouds. Or door number 2, somewhere in the pages of a forgotten lawyer from the 1890s is a suggestion that time does not work the way that we think it does. The same door the Titanic keeps pointing at, and poor shipwrecked Richard Parker, and a sailor who swore something else was holding the pen as he wrote. Time travel seems to be the only explanation. So here's your assignment. Every book I name tonight is real. It's public domain and free. The Library of Congress has them. You could be reading the Baron Trump books 5 minutes from now. And when you do, you'll find out something that I deliberately left out of this video. Why the last novel is called The Last President. I left it out because, well, it hasn't happened and I don't think it will. I'll let you discover that one for yourself. Now head to the comments and tell me which door you walked through, because I genuinely want to know. I think this world is not what we think it is, and if you like exploring the unexplainable, be sure to come back. Hit the subscribe, and if you give this video a like, it will help.
Straight up. So I don't even gotta play Donald Trump. John Trump's Donald Trump uncle shit. I don't gotta play his old ass interview, cause she told me. But I got it.
The floor of a warehouse somewhere in New York City, and I spent a good deal of time examining one by one the papers, the books, and various other memorials that he had accumulated. But I was particularly looking for something which would be evidence of a secret weapon, which I was reminded by the 2 agents who were present during the entire time, was a matter of concern to the United States. course of this, I did come across a number of letters directed at the upper echelon of the British Empire, that is, I think, to the King and Queen, or perhaps just to the King of England, and also to the Tsar of Russia, explaining that he was the inventor of a secret weapon which had rather remarkable properties, and that he would be interested in entering into a negotiation which would lead to a disclosure of what they were. Of course, I spent a good deal of time looking through these papers, trying to find out what the nature of this secret weapon was. I think I had, although I don't remember it so very accurately, an idea of what its properties were. It had the capability of acting at a great distance, of being destructive to flying objects and things of that kind at a place which was remote from the source. But nowhere in his technical list did I find an explanation of just how such a device could operate.
I believe that you also opened another box, supposedly, that he left at another hotel. Can you relate that story, please?
There you go.
Yes, when I had substantially concluded my study on the following day, I think that was Saturday morning, I was reminded by one of the two agents that there was a box being held as a security for an unpaid obligation, and that this box was an item of considerable value and may indeed itself be the secret weapon, that it was armed and therefore it probably was not touched.
Were you nervous doing it?
I found it a matter of a bit of concern. However, I realized that this had to be done, and so we taxied down to this hotel. The agents identified themselves, their credentials, to the assistant manager of the hotel, who led us to a room. This room was essentially empty except for a table and a steel cabinet against the wall, which was open. I think perhaps he opened it with a key. The cabinet itself was empty, except on one of the lower shelves was a package, a box, a rectangular box of ordinary size, which was wrapped in brown wrapping paper. It turned out to be a highly polished box with brass clasps, and it looked more like an instrument case. And after waiting a while, and listening a while, and remembering that it had been there for quite a few years, I think it had actually been there for about 5 years as a security, I opened it. It turned out to be a decade resistance box, manufactured by, I suspect, an American manufacturer, and something of value, but not great value, and certainly nothing ominous at all in its nature.
So after Dr. Tesla had let the world know of his secret weapon, after he had written letters to the King of England and to the Tsar of Russia, offering them this weapon at a time when both were engaged against the Germans in World War II, no evidence or papers were found which referred to any such secret weapon.
My report to Dr. Compton was that I saw no danger in releasing these papers and these relics to his heirs.
Miss Musar had arrived too late to know who had opened Dr. Tesla's safe or what had been removed. And Dr. Trump had found nothing which he considered dangerous or a secret weapon.
Right.
Tesla had been a naturalized American citizen for 54 years. So why were his papers seized by agents of the custodian of alien property?
Right.
I suspect that governments other than those of the United States, England, and Russia were interested in the inventions of Dr. Tesla.
Bullshit. See what I'm saying? They'll never share with the public what something they feel technologically they can have an advantage on, bro. That's how you keep a people suppressed and docile, man. Not being totally truthful and honest with what could benefit humanity, you can capitalize off of. Essentially what you can control, man. So, What's good, y'all? But yeah, man. I appreciate y'all for being up here, chilling with me. I ain't gonna keep y'all long, man. I just, just show y'all that brief little information, man. And I think it's pretty cool to examine. Once again, man, Barron Trump has a bounty on his head for $10 million coming out of Iran. And a lot of people can say, that's because we in the war, the obvious. Okay, you can take the political with that, but nah. When you got these three real books by author Ingrid Lockwood, um, the books are like a three part series. The Underground Adventures of Barron Trump, The Amazing Adventures of Barron Trump, and The Last President. Okay, and they're in the U.S. House of Library, the Congress, U.S. Congress Library. It's in Washington, where you can read it for free. So yeah, man. I thought that was something. That would be something cool to talk about and build on. I might come back live later. I don't know, but until then, man, I just wanted to tell y'all, God bless y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for pulling up, and look for more information on that Barron Trump thing, and then you know, um, with him in Iran and everything, and look up them books too. You know what I mean? These books were written 120 years, 130 years before Donald and Ben, before the day. So to have pinpoint accuracy on what's going on, it's almost like some Simpson shit. You know what I mean? Like, man, how the Simpsons just know how maybe the Simpsons be getting their information from this book? You know, the dude who wrote the book, wrote the series, says his body was invaded by spirits. So hey, we'll see. So, but yeah, man. So shoot, man, I'll see if I could try to hang out till the hour 3, and then I'll release y'all from hostage. But yeah, let me see if I could. I want to talk about just the reign of the reign. Let's see. All right, so check this out. This is former President Mike Pence. Take a look at his house, y'all. You remember I told you what is a God-fearing dude doing with a observatory is a part of his house. Check it out.
The Bidens took Mike Pence and his wife Karen on a tour of their new home.
I hope they enjoy it all as much as Joe and I have.
Joe and Jill Biden have lived in a 33-room Queen Anne-style home for 8 years, located on the grounds of the Naval Observatory. The observatory's longtime public affairs officer, Jeff Chester, showed me one of the telescopes that the last 3 vice presidents used to get a glimpse of the final frontier.
I have been duly impressed.
He's looking forward to showing the Pences some views that are truly out of this world. There's also a second telescope that scientists used to first spot the 2 moons of Mars back in 1877. Chester is quick to point out that his great-grandfather was superintendent of the observatory and lived in the house.
So whenever the vice president comes up, I always ask him if he still likes living in my great-grandpa's house.
Vice presidents have lived here since 1974, when Congress made it their official residence.
It's not a fancy house, but it's a very livable house.
And it's home to the atomic clock, the most precise timescale in the world, which should help Mr. Pence stay on schedule. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
Man, listen, bro. You got observatories. You got grid no lines that houses are built on to track certain energy. Man, come on, bro. Been nuts to anything that people even understand as possible.
My son.
Mm-hmm.
And burn.
I'm trying to find a. Let's see. I got y'all. Hold on. I want to hit y'all with something that I really think that'll be interesting. Something I saw, and then I'll let you go. Man, I appreciate y'all for pulling up, bro. For real. Good stuff. All right.
The 20s heard at his father's table one morning that England's great King Coeur de Lion, Gates of Imagination presents Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bulger by Ingersoll Lockwood. Read by Arthur Lane. Chapter 1. I come from one of the most ancient and honorable families of North Germany, famous for its valor and love of adventure. One of my ancestors, when just entering the 20s, heard at his father's table one morning that England's great King Coeur de Lion was about to lead an army against the infidels. Gracious parent, cried the young man, starting up from his seat, his eyes on fire, his cheeks ablaze. May I join the Crusaders and aid in the destruction of the enemies of our holy religion? Alas, poor boy, replied his...
Which gives me confirmation and some type of concrete evidence to show y'all that, all war is based on religion. The dude, even down to the story, the dude just tell you, hey, Pop, can I help fight the war for the people who rise up against our religion? All the wars essentially are crusades in religion. From Islam to people who are Buddhists, the Chinese and Asian, Southeast Asian, the Japanese, all of them are Buddhists. People who are Hinduism and Confucius, these are all monotheism religions that are created. And wars essentially are fought because of people that refuse to be converts, essentially, or pay taxes. So we have international arm dealers that we don't you have the slightest clue of what's really going on. So anyway, man, I love each and every one of y'all, man. God bless y'all. Appreciate y'all for being here. Enjoy the rest of y'all Wednesday afternoon. I will not hold you all day like I did yesterday. Peace and love, man. Blessings to all y'all millennial. You already know what it is, man. Prince Bud, Martino, respect, man. Dante, you already know what it is, my boy. 18, thank you for pulling up earlier, man. Lillian, Lillian, you already know what it is, darling. I appreciate you. Shaq, my boy, thank you, man, for your wisdom, bro. You already know what it is, fam. Like I said, man, I'm not gonna hold y'all for no damn 12 hours like I did yesterday. Ain't gonna do y'all. Did I miss anybody in the roll call? I don't think I missed nobody today. I don't think I missed no. Oh, Captain J, man, I appreciate you pulling up, bro. Lauren, of course, sweet Lauren, my nerd. EJ, man, respect, man. I appreciate you coming through earlier too, bro. Thanks, man. Shouts out to you, EJ. 18, you already know you my sniper, bro. I called you out earlier. And that's it. So, man, God bless each and every one of y'all. Wishing y'all health, prosperity, and hair grease. All right? Y'all hold it down, man. Hold it down. I'm out. Peace.